Hi, how are you?
The Breezy Flash, what's up?
Nothing much. Just chilling out.
I thought you were a basketball player. What's all this track stuff going on?
Well, I mean, there are 3 seasons, so that's my 3rd one.
Really interesting track career you've had so far. It's not a sport you were into in middle school or anything like that. I guess you just what was the impetus in picking up track freshman year? Just something to do in the spring?
Well, I actually ran track in middle school, but that was mainly because the soccer coach was the track coach. And I did pretty well, but the thing was I was a runner and a jumper. I'd never really thrown everything. One time I threw a discus for fun just to laugh around, and the coach kicked me out because I was that bad. So he said just go back over to the pit. But yeah, it was really weird. It was just like the head coach, he was just saying freshmen or new people just try whatever and we'll just see what you're good at, because there were a lot of open spots for different events and stuff, and they do it the first week. They're just teaching everybody all the different events. And javelin was actually what I was interestingly better at. I was actually going in to maybe run the 100, maybe do long jump, try high jump, but I ended up throwing, and we know what happens from there.
Now, what happened when the first time you threw a javelin? Did you even know how to throw it?
Not really, no. But actually,
just pick up the stick and wing it as far as you can, right?
Pretty much, yeah. They were like, you hold it like that, and then just throw it as best you can. And my elbow hurt for 2 days afterwards, but it still went pretty far. The coach was like, you know what? I want you to try that. I mean, who am I to say no, right? But I'm glad, because I wouldn't be where I am today without it.
Now, how much did former football player and track star Terrence Smith help you out? I know you worked with him a little bit freshman year, right?
Yeah, he was the first one to actually show me how to really throw it right. Because I probably wouldn't have a shoulder right now if it wasn't for him. But he was actually the first person to tell me to try javelin. Before I even knew what it was, we had this activity fair freshman year, and that's when they just have everybody in their all the clubs and sports in their booths, and then the freshmen can sign up and just look around and see what they're interested in. The school is actually, Oakcrest is really, really good at that, letting everybody know their options. So he was over there in the field with this, I'm pretty sure it was just a really long turbo jazz. And he told me to just pick it up and how to throw it and stuff. And that was the first time that I ever had any experience with it. And he was like, yeah, you're good at that. You're going to do that this spring. And in reality, I was actually supposed to do softball, but with scheduling and stuff, that didn't work out.
Now, were you surprised at the success you had as a freshman? I mean, you went from basically picking up a javelin for the first time in March to becoming sectional champion.
Oh, of course. I didn't even, I don't know. People would say that I had unrealistic goals when I first started it, because I was actually really, really excited to do javelin when I saw that I was kind of good at it. And the first few meets, the coach was like, no, we're going to have you jump, and we need you to run, and we need you to do this. So then when I finally got to do it, my very first meet, I actually won. I threw 108 feet, I think. And I don't know, a few weeks later, I was like, you know what? By the end of my season, I'm going to get 120. Terrence and the other senior girl and the coach, they all looked at me like I was crazy. But I ended up surpassing that. So I think I always kind of knew that I could be decent at it, but I never really understood what would come of that. And the fact that I was state champ, sectional champ, 3rd at MOC freshman year, it just kind of blew me away once I stopped to look back at it.
We're talking with Brielle Smith, rising junior at Oakcrest High School, a 3-sport athlete, plays soccer, basketball, and track, and recently defended her title, I should say, at the AAU Junior Olympics. Tell me about that experience. Now you're 2 years into your track career. You had another great showing this spring at the Meet of Champions, and you go out to the Junior Olympics. What was your expectation this year? And obviously there's a little bit more of a target on your back as the defending champ.
Yeah, well, obviously my expectation was to go and defend my title, and gladly I pulled through. But going out there, it was just I was more nervous than the first year because there were a lot of girls in the same like throwing range. I can say, I guess, like a lot of them were in the 130s, high 120s. We were all kind of in the same area, and actually going in, I wasn't even the top ranked thrower, like based on my throws at regionals. I was third or fourth, I think. So at first that kind of freaked me out because it was like, oh my God, I have a title to defend, and I'm not even, top thrower coming in. And at the end of the day, it kind of dawned on me that sometimes it's better to go before people because then you can get the jump on them and kind of like javelin is very psychological, and most of it is mental. So if you can kind of get in somebody's head before they even do their first throw, that's more often than not, that's one of the better things to do. So I just try to focus on that and realize that a lot of these girls, it was their last chance. They were seniors. It was their last year doing AAU. And even if I happened to not have won, I still had 2 more years to come back and work again. So.
Now, Brielle, I was talking to your throwing coach, Greg Geraci, a little bit earlier this week, and he was telling me that, you threw 143, I think it was, out of junior nationals, and he believes that you can maybe top 160 by the time you finish your senior year. What's that like to hear that from a guy who's been basically coaching the throwing and javelin since about the 70s?
It means a lot, and he tells me almost every day, he's like, I know you have more in you. You can, like, we got this. It's really just working on the little things to make sure that you can go forward into the 160s, 170s, 180s, who knows. It's all about the smaller things that nobody really pays attention to and having so many things right every throw. And it actually means a lot just to know all of the throwers that he's coached and seen all of their successes, for him to say that he believes in me that much to do just as good as them or even better than some of them. It really means a lot, and it makes me feel really good.
Now, Brielle, I know you love the games of soccer and basketball. Did you ever think when you started high school, hey, there's a chance I can get a college scholarship at track? I mean, when you start talking that 145, 150, 160 range, there may be a chance to go to a real big-time college as a track athlete.
Yeah, going in, everything was focused on soccer. Like basketball was still that sport that I did because I had been doing it since I was young and I loved it. And then track was just something in the off season to stay in shape. So it's strange how a lot has changed, and to see that javelin is really like a real tangible option for me as a scholarship and potentially full ride for some of these big schools that I've been looking at for years. It's really strange just to see how so much has changed and how much hopefully will change in the future.
Yeah, that's got to be it's such an interesting way that your career has sort of unfolded. I mean, like you said, you were so into soccer, and obviously you might have some options with that as well in terms of getting to the next level. But, track sort of just coming on the radar in the last year and a half or so. It's got to be kind of interesting to see how that's worked out for you, and obviously it's going to be something you'll have to think about here in the next year and a half, right?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of letters and mainly a lot of questions. Well, which one is your favorite? Do you like soccer or do you like track better? And
they're trying to get inside your head a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I can't answer that question. It's kind of hard because I don't want to choose. I have a really big love for both, actually, all three. So I don't know. Trying to choose, it's like trying to choose your favorite kid. You can't do that, You can't do that.
Just be like, yeah, well, what are you offering? Then I'll tell you.
True. I'll remember that.
You use your leverage, right?
Of course.
Now, you pretty excited about the soccer season coming up? I know you've been starting goalkeeper for the last 2 years, and had some pretty good seasons.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited. This year, I personally think we're looking a lot better than last year and maybe even the year before. I don't know. There are a lot of spots that are being filled up by people, like by freshmen that we needed last year. And the fact that we had so many holes in the roster, like by position, last year, it kind of caused it made it a bit strange because people were playing out of their position, and it was weird. And we eventually kind of worked it out, sort of. But I think this year we should be good as long as we go with the flow and buy into what we're supposed to do. I think you'll be hearing a lot of us.
Good stuff, Brielle. We're up against the break. Got to let you go, but we appreciate you taking a few minutes, and we'll be seeing you out there on a soccer field in just a few weeks.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Have a good weekend. Thanks.
You too.
That was Brielle Smith, outstanding young lady from Oakcrest High School, three-sport athlete.